As we're recording this here on Thursday, the Browns and the Chiefs, with the Chiefs favored by 10 points. I mean, I'll just start here. I just think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. And I just don't think this Browns team is going to lose to the Chiefs by double digits. I think, I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 42-39. I'm not ready to pick the Browns to beat the Chiefs yet. Maybe that'll change in the next day or two. But I'm certainly not ready to say the Browns are going to lose by 10 points to this team coming off a bye, haven't played by the time they kick off in 20-some days. I'm going to take the Browns plus the 10 here. Ellis, what do you think?
Dan, I'm with you. This line is way too high. Let's just start with a simple points per game equation. Cleveland averages about 27 a game, Chiefs about 30. The Browns have scored 32 points or more 7 times this year. 3 times they've gone over 40. I just don't see a world where, even if it's a backdoor cover, the Browns are going to be in this game. The offense, as I've been looking at the data, studying the tape, I don't think they have much of an issue moving the ball in this game. They're going to face third downs. They're going to be an empty. Baker Mayfield's going to have to make throws, but it's all the throws he made last week. Jarvis Landry winning in the middle on an option route. Austin Hooper for 7. Those are plays Baker's proven he can make, so I'm confident he can make them. And like you, I haven't landed on a winner yet. As we go into gotta watch the tape tomorrow, and eventually we get to the weekend and make those picks, I'll land on something. But as I'm crafting ways the Browns can win this football game, there's a few avenues. I think controlling the ball is extremely important. Now, that's not a cliche where it's like run the ball and control the game. No, they can throw and still control the game. They've already done it. It was the New York Giants game. In that game, they had a 13-play drive that went 75 yards, took 6 minutes off, 10-play drive, 95 yards, took 5 minutes off, and then a 14-play drive that actually totaled 115 yards. There was penalties in there, of course, but went 95 yards and took 8 minutes off the clock. I mean, that's some Madden stuff where you're just like, all right, man, you can't beat me, so you just run the whole time and you don't get the ball for a whole quarter. I mean, to take 8 minutes off the clock in an NFL game is just incredible. And they did it 3 times in New York. I think they're going to have to double that. They're going to need 5 or 6 double-digit drives that end in a touchdown, but I think they're capable. Then, as I said, capitalize on the big plays. The Raiders when they beat the Chiefs, had 7 plays of over 32 yards. 6 of them were passes. I think this is a big Jarvis Landry game. Kadarius Hodge is coming back. Perhaps he's the guy who hits on a deep post, 40-yard post route. They'll probably run Jarvis Landry on a deep over. This is from the Raiders game, watching that tape. And then they throw a post route behind. Kadarius Hodge has a nice comeback. And then again, I think it's another Austin Hooper performance. And then we know what the running backs can do. And I love how Doug brought this up and got to watch the tape, is you could see this game ending where they're just using Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt for the last 5 minutes, and Patrick Mahomes doesn't even get on the field. Not make my prediction, but I'm saying that this spread is way too large for all those reasons I laid out. And then the simple fact that the Chiefs could just come out flat. They haven't played for 20 days, and they've been known to start slow to begin with. So for all those reasons, it's a 1-possession game, not a 10-point game.
Doug?
So you know how many times in their last 8 games the Chiefs have won by more than 10? None.
How many?
None. So the line is bonkers. And now I've used the term sucker line at times on this podcast. That I don't know, and I said it before, if it's like, oh, the Chiefs were bored. Oh, shoot, they're going to score 80. Like, it's just like, oh, we might realize it in the first 8 minutes and be like, oh, darn it. What they've been doing for the whole second half of the season, like, it's not them. They were, for whatever reason, saving this up. But I don't think that's the case. There's a chance that we're all going to be wrong. I think everybody in Cleveland, and I think a lot of people around the country, are going to come around to the idea that at the very least, the line is too big. And now there's a part of me that feels like I have Stockholm syndrome, because, like, you can start analyzing things here that really make you think the Browns can win. And it's like, is it just because we're here and we are together and everybody, all we talk about is the Browns, and like, that's just how we're so, but it feels like, no, I'm stepping back, and there's a million different ways with how these two teams match up, especially with the defense. If Denzel Ward and Ronnie Harrison are pretty close to themselves, man, like you really feel like you can get there. So I haven't looked at it enough. I'm not there, but I am definitely at take the points. And I'll be curious to see if this line comes down at all by kickoff, because 10 just really feels really, really high. And I wonder if anybody else is going to come around on this is a much closer game and does it move? But I'll take the points with the Browns.
Mary Kay?
Well, I'm gonna go back to about a month ago or whatever it was, and I have to remind you, Dan and Ellis, when you guys almost ridiculed me for suggesting that perhaps the Browns might be able to beat the Chiefs. Dan said, "We are not suggesting on this podcast, warning, this is a family podcast. We are not suggesting on this podcast that there's any way that the Browns could beat the Chiefs." Ellis said,
now this part I'll bleep out.
Especially this next part. Bleep this next part out. I know what you're going to say.
Part is, Ellis said, there is zero chance that the Chiefs can beat the Browns. So with
She's got the receipts. She's got the receipts.
With that little backdrop, I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'm going to pick the Browns to beat the Chiefs in this game. I'm picking them to beat the Chiefs. And I'm not insane and I'm not crazy. There's something, the Browns woke up. The Browns are extremely hot and they want this really, really badly. They want it. They've got the emotional advantage in this game. Kareem Hunt is coming back. He's coming back loaded for bear. Sammy Watkins, you know, if I were Patrick Mahomes, I would just go seek out Sammy Watkins right now and punch him in the nose because he jujued the Browns, okay? I don't care what Baker Mayfield says on his interview with us that, oh, no, you know. I mean, that was an act, okay? I asked Kareem Hunt about it today, and he was like, well, you know, we'll see what how he feels about us after the game. And that's how the Browns feel. They look at this line, this 10-point line, and they're like, okay, we've got something for you, right? The other really important thing to remember about this football game right now is Denzel Ward back, Ronnie Harrison back, and Kevin Johnson back. They have a full secondary for the first time in a long, long, long time, okay? That is going to be huge. The Kansas City Chiefs are not blowing into the playoffs like a tornado. Patrick has thrown 4 interceptions in his last 3 games. He's been sacked 10 times in, I don't know, an amount of games that I have it written down here somewhere. I would need my glasses to find it. But he has taken most of his sacks, sort of recently. They are 4th in the NFL with 105 penalties. Oh, it's 10 sacks in his last 5 games. Okay. So if you start getting to him and you start hitting him. Now, the other thing is Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice today. He didn't practice. Okay. So is Patrick Mahomes better than Baker Mayfield? Yes. He's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. But like Doug observed earlier, sometimes you have to think about more than the quarterback. And if I just go section by section, position by position, matchup by matchup, I'm seeing some things here that say to me, Cleveland Browns can win this game. Their running game versus that run defense. Their offensive line versus the Chiefs' defensive line. Yes, can Patrick score at will? Definitely. Did they come back from 3 10-point deficits last year to get to the Super Bowl? Yes, they did. But I think if they're going to win it, if the Chiefs are going to win it, Patrick is going to strap that team on his back and he's going to have to be Superman. And I think he knows he's going to have to be Superman because I think he realizes that the Browns woke up and they want to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And they are coming in there with their darn hair on fire. And I believe they can do it. I believe that they can actually pull this off.